Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 466. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is the simple formula to raise your prices and make more money. The simple formula to raise your prices and make more money. Now, one of the biggest concerns for entrepreneurs is not charging enough for their products or services and possibly leaving money on the table. The truth is that there's a science to maximizing your pricing and profits that many entrepreneurs don't know. So today we're going to discuss this, and I'm going to decode the formula to help you increase your prices and profitability without getting pushback from your customers. Now, before we get to today's show, I just want to share a few things with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links, such as the link to my latest book, Unlocking the Power of ChatGPT, the ultimate prompting guide for beginners. So if you're interested in artificial intelligence and learning how to prompt and use and leverage ChatGPT, go to unlockingchatgpt.com for more information. Unlockingchatgpt.com for more information. Also, don't forget to take advantage of our 3-day free access to the BEB Academy. Now, the Academy is an online learning portal that has all types of master classes, online courses, workshops, PDF downloads, and other resources to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. You can go to bebacademy.com or just go to the website blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, and it's on the first page of the website. Click the join button and you'll get 3 days free access with no obligation, and you'll have access to everything inside the Academy. Now, let's get ready for today's show. So, are you charging enough for your products or services, or are you leaving too much money on the table? That's the question that many entrepreneurs struggle with. Now, on today's show, I'm actually going to divulge and decode this simple formula that's going to allow you to raise your prices, make more money, and be more profitable without your customers complaining. And that's the whole key. How can you raise prices without your customers complaining? Now, you see price increases all the time based on economic situations and also things based on the supply chain. So when people raise their prices for things like that, that's usually not a problem because it's understood. But the whole key is, how do you increase prices and profitability without your customers complaining? And we're going to discuss that and dive into that today. Now, this show is probably going to be a little bit shorter than normal. I'm about to do some traveling, so I got to get out of here. But it's still going to be super impactful. Remember, 2023 and beyond, every show that I do, I want it to be super impactful. So if you have any topics you want me to discuss on the show, just email me or send me a DM via Instagram. So let's dive into the content today, the simple formula to raise your prices and make more money without your customers complaining. Once again, that's the key. First, we want to talk about and understand the definition and the relationship between price and perceived value. Price and perceived value. Price is actually what you pay. So if you're buying something and it's $49.99, that's the price. Perceived value is what you get or what you perceive to get. And perceived value is something arbitrary that only you can determine. So price is what you pay. Perceived value is what you get or what you perceive that you're getting. Now, here's the holy grail to making a sale, right? If your price exceeds the perceived value, you will not make sales. So if your price exceeds the perceived value, you won't make sales. But if your perceived value is greater than the price, you do make sales. So it's almost like a seesaw, right? So for example, if you go into the store and you're looking for a pair of sneakers, now you have Nikes for $150, or you can find some no brand sneakers that look kind of like Nikes. We used to call them Bobos back in the day in Philly. You see a pair of Bobos over there that look similar to Nike, but they're selling for $75. What are you going to buy? You're probably going to buy the Nike because the perceived value is that they're better quality. It may be literally the same shoe, but because you perceive the Nike quality is better than this other no-name brand, you're going to spend your money and buy that product. And I'll give you a real life example too. Now, years ago when I was in the condom business, yes, I said condom business. You can listen to that on one of the older episodes. We used to have products that went with the condoms. We had T-shirts, we had hats with a zipper on the side where you could put the condom in. We had all types of different products. One of our manufacturers was in Brooklyn, New York. And we went up there one day. We were discussing an agreement about them manufacturing products for us. And while we were there, the owner and his son were taking us around to the facilities. And so they actually used to produce clothing for a lot of the major store brands, Macy's, JCPenney's, and all other types of stores like that. One of the products that they manufactured were trench coats. So as we looked at the production of these trench coats, we went to the end of the line where all the trench coats were finished. Now, at the end of the line, a certain percentage of the coats were labeled London Fog, and then the other percentage of the coats were labeled JCPenney's. It's literally the same exact coat, trench coat, right? And they had a London Fog tag here. They were manufacturing for them, and they also were manufacturing for JCPenney's. The London Fog trench coat sold damn near 3 times of what the JCPenney's coats sell for, and they're the exact identical product. Once again, pricing and then perceived value. That London Fog tag in the back of that coat had the perceived value that this is a better quality coat than the exact same coat that you could have bought at JCPenney's. And that's real talk, because literally they were the exact same coat with nothing different. I thought, maybe they would have done the stitching different or something else, the fabric, but they literally were the same coat. And they were telling me they manufacture for a lot of different companies. And once again, they'll put the same product with different tags. And so that's a real life example, guys. So you have to understand the relationship versus price versus perceived value. And it's funny because people who bought the London Fog coats, they knew they were going to spend more money. Just like when you buy particular items, you don't mind spending money because you think you're getting the value for it. Some things, I get it and I understand. Other things I don't, but that's to each his own. So price versus perceived value. Now, so you understand that if your price exceeds the perceived value, you're not going to make sales. But if your perceived value is greater than the price that you charge, then you will make sales. So you need to look at your products and services right now, because you may be leaving money on the table. So think about the profitability of the trench coats, right? So one of them sells for $300, the other sells for $100. I don't know what the manufacturing cost was, but just say it's $25 to manufacture those coats. So London Fog, which was being sold in Macy's, they're selling it for $300, costs $25. That's a $275 profit. The same trench coat that's sold in JCPenney's that's being sold for $100 minus the $25 cost is grossing $75. So you're looking at $275 profit versus a $75 profit. Same exact product, same exact item, no differences at all. But there's several things that make that perceived value different, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So here's the formula, guys. Higher pricing plus aligned perceived value equals more money and more profits. Higher pricing plus aligned perceived value equals more money and more profits. So many entrepreneurs don't feel comfortable with charging higher prices for their products or services because you're scared that you're not going to make the sales, right? But what if you're leaving thousands of dollars in revenue on the table each month? And there are two key words you need to know. And the words are aligned and supported. Now, what do I mean by aligned and supported? Okay, so your pricing and perceived value must be aligned and supported, right? Your pricing and perceived value must match both in alignment or presentation of your product or service and in the support material around your product or service, like testimonials or free trials. Okay, so alignment and supporting. Your price, everything has to be aligned. If it's not aligned, you're not going to make money. So for example, and I use this all the time, if you're buying Beats headphones, right, versus just some clamshell headphones that are in Walmart, what's the perceived value of Beats versus some, low end brand headphones? The perception is that Beats are better, right? But why do you have that perception? Okay. Is it because Dr. Dre promoted them and you trust what Dr. Dre was, what he does? Is it because of the packaging? Nice, expensive packaging. You open it up, nice box, hard cardboard box. They have all types of literature and things in there. It's packaged nicely. Okay. So everything is aligned with the price. You're going to pay $299, but everything is aligned. The marketing is aligned, the positioning of the product or service is aligned, and also the packaging is aligned, okay? That's what you have to understand when we're talking about that, alignment and supporting. Now, how do you support that? Once again, packaging is a support item, right? The material or testimonials is a support item. You go on a website, you see video testimonials. Also a free trial that gives you the opportunity to try something out. So you may have a high-end software, right, that you may use for a CRM or whatever. And in order to support that high price, the software company may allow you to try the software for a 14-day free trial or whatever. But once again, everything has to be aligned and it has to be supported. So let me give you a couple other examples real quick. I'm going to stick close to home in this scenario. And I'm going to use mortgage brokers that target $1 million home buyers. And their actual target market is real estate agents that sell those type of homes. So we have mortgage broker number 1 and mortgage broker number 2, who are both trying to target real estate agents that sell high-end homes. So mortgage broker number 1 says, you know what? My referral strategy is this. I'm going to go in real estate offices and I'm going to drop off flyers. Okay. So that's mortgage broker number 1's whole referral plan. Going to real estate offices, just dropping off flyers. Now, mortgage broker number 2 is a little more detailed. What he's done is he actually has a portal on his website for real estate agents so they can refer clients by completing a short online form, right? Now, this portal has realtor testimonials, videos. It gives immediate email responses thanking the realtor for the referrals and automatically updates the status of the loan for that client that's buying that realtor's home. Now, the question is, which mortgage broker is aligned with this market and supports his product or service better? Obviously, it's mortgage broker number 2. If you're going to deal with realtors that are selling $1 million homes, right? You're not just going to come out and pass out flyers in a real estate office. You're going to create systems. And I always talk about systems. Lead generation system, a referral system, and a fulfillment system. Professional. I'm not talking about handing out business cards with crayon written on it, right? That's a difference. And that's what I'm talking about, being aligned. Understanding who your customer is. Understanding what their perception is going to be based on the way that you approach them. Okay. So now the real estate agents are like, you know what? I can go right online. I can enter this information and I'm going to get updated information on my client's loan, their application. Man, or am I going to call this other mortgage guy number 1 who dropped off flyers? Okay. Once again, You have to understand alignment. Everything has to be aligned, right? So you're doing high-end homes, your presentation has to be high-end. You only can sell 3 type of products, guys: high-end, mid-level, or low-end products or services. And it all depends on where you position yourself in amongst those 3. But you have to support whatever position that you decide to take. Walmart, right? Low prices. That's their thing. We have a supermarket around here called Aldi, ALDI. My wife loves it. I can't stand it. They have low prices and there's no frills in the supermarket. Most of the stuff is in boxes, right? So whatever the product is delivered in, they cut the box open and they stick it on the shelves. But you understand why you're going in there, because everything is aligned. They're not telling you that, they're Whole Foods. They're saying, no, we're about price. You can get quality products at a decent price. So all of that is aligned. Now, if you went into a Whole Foods and it looked like that, there's no alignment there. The pricing versus the perceived value is not there, and nobody will buy anything. That's why it's important, guys, for you to understand these 2 key words: aligned and supported. You want to be aligned, and you want to support that alignment by, visuals, by testimonials, by whatever way that you can. All right. So that was an example with 2 different mortgage brokers, right? Now, I'm going to give you guys another example. If you're a high-end watch company like Rolex, right? How do they align their pricing and perceived value, right? Number one, Rolexes are not sold everywhere. You can't go into certain stores and buy a Rolex. You can't go into Walmart or JCPenney's and buy a Rolex, right? So, number one, the locations that they're sold in are high-end locations. They also have a beautiful website and advertising to support and align their product with their customers. Their customers are high-end, wealthy individuals that can afford those products or services, right? So the product is perceived to be made with the highest quality and precision that justifies the price. And for people that are into watches, right? A Timex tells the same time as a Rolex, right? But it's the perceived value, the quality of that Rolex that allows them to sell as many as they do, and they're more profitable. So you have to understand that, guys. The formula is higher pricing plus aligned perceived value equals more money and more profits. So what do you think happens to businesses that have a significant price increase for their products or services, and it's not related to economic or industry fluctuations? So the key is most of the businesses are going to lose customers. Means they're not going to make as many sales. It's because their price increase is not aligned with the product or service, and it's not supported by the perceived value of the product or service. So think about it all the time, why you change products, right? Oh man, this pocketbook was usually only $100. Man, now they're up to $175. Is it worth it? When you go to the supermarket, right? That you always are looking at prices. But if it's a particular brand that you like, then you're going to spend that money. I'm going to go back to Aldi again, right? There's certain things in Aldi I tell my wife don't ever buy again, please. So she went in one day and she bought these fake Eggo waffles, right? Looked like the box even looked like it. You take it out, it looked like it, but when you tasted it, it tasted like styrofoam. And I'm like, yo, don't even buy that anymore, because it's not worth it. The price didn't validate the perceived value or the actual perceived value. Now, other people may like it and be like, yeah, they're going to keep buying these fake Eggos from Aldi, but not me. So remember, if your price exceeds perceived value, you won't make sales. If your perceived value is greater than your price, you will make sales. So now let's talk about how do you raise your prices and make more money and become more profitable. And here are a couple of tips that you need to take into account. Number one, once again, your price versus perceived value must be aligned. So if you have a high-end product or service that you're selling, everything about the whole process has to be high-end, right? If you own a high-end fashion boutique and you're in the middle of a low-income area, your building looks like crap, You got paint coming off the walls, but you're selling dresses for $1,000 a piece. Guess what? You're not going to make any sales, okay? Your price versus perceived value must be aligned. Just think about when Jim Jones tried to go into Gucci and he was mad because they didn't give him champagne. You walk into Gucci, they treat you like a king or a queen. They give you champagne. They cater to everything you want. And once again, the price versus perceived value is aligned, okay? Also, your messaging has to be aligned. When I talk about your messaging, I'm talking about what message do you give to your product? BMW, the ultimate driving machine. You don't hear Ford saying that. BMW is a higher priced automobile. And when it comes to automobiles, Lamborghinis are one of the most expensive vehicles out there. And guess what, guys? They don't advertise at all. And their philosophy is the product speaks for itself. Okay, so they're like, look, it doesn't matter. We're that good. We don't have to advertise. Okay, so that's their alignment. That's what they're doing. Their messaging is aligned with their product. And the message is we're so good, we don't have to advertise like everybody else. And what I'm giving you now, guys, is some tips on how you increase your prices and make more money without your customers complaining. Another tip is your brand or product image must be aligned and professional, right? Website. You know, how you going to sell something without a website? Okay, now I know a lot of people, if you sell services or whatever, that's all fine and dandy, but people want to be able to go and access to find out more about your company, your product, or your service. And I remember years ago, before I got blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, the website redone or rebranded, I was talking to a PR person and they were like, look, your content is great, but your back end is doo-doo, man. It's horrible. Right. And that's true. I did a WordPress website myself. It was basic when I started out, and I just kept letting it go on and go on. And she said, this is going to hurt your brand and it's going to stop you from getting speaking engagements. Well, not stop you, but it's going to deter you because your back end doesn't match your front end. OK, so your brand or product image must be aligned and professional. And that was the example I kind of gave when it came to the mortgage guys. So one has a great portal that, you know, his partners, referral partners, these real estate agents could jump on. It's automated. It's professional. Another guy's handing out flyers in the real estate agencies, right? What's the difference? One of them looks professional and looks aligned for $1 million customers. The other one didn't. The next tip is understand your audience. What do they want and what do they need? Who is your audience? So in the example of $1 million home buyers, that's a different audience than somebody that's buying a $25,000 bungalow or whatever. It's a different audience. So you need to understand the audience on your customers' wants and needs. And here's something I learned a long time ago. You give your customer what they want, not necessarily what they need. People are going to buy what they want before they'll buy something that they need, right? Think about how many people that are in financial difficulty right now got 70-inch TV screens on the wall and they can't pay their electric bill, right? They're going to buy what they want before handling what they need. I learned that a long time ago. You don't give them what they need. You give them what they want, right? Hopefully, both of those things will be aligned, but many times people are going to spend on what they want versus what they need. Now, there's certain things that everybody needs: food, clothing, and shelter. And if you're behind on that, then you know it's a major issue. But give them what they want before you give them what they need. And lastly, you have to understand what motivates people. I always talk about the psychology of selling, right? So there's only 3 things that really motivate people, right? People are either going to move away from pain, or they're going to move towards pleasure, or they're going to do or buy something for status. You're either moving away from pain, moving towards pleasure, or you're going to move or buy something for status, right? So let's talk about all 3 of these individually, because I think this is important. So moving away from pain, right? That makes sense. So if you have bad feet and you're a waiter or a waitress in a restaurant, You want to get some insoles or get whatever product or service that's going to take away that pain, right? So if you're selling insoles, hey, you got an opportunity to get with that customer. If you are a tax accountant, right, and somebody has, they owe the IRS $50,000 and you'll be able to help them out, they're moving away from that pain, right? So that's moving away from pain. Now let's look at moving towards pleasure. Anybody listening play the lottery, Powerball, Mega Millions or whatever? Right. You're spending money because you want to hit that windfall and move towards pleasure. Another example could be somebody that starts a side hustle because they want to move to a new home. They need to save money and build up their capital, their assets to move to a new home. So they're going to do a side hustle because it's going to help them move toward pleasure. Now, the last one is status. And the reason I want to focus on this a little bit more is I have a lot of BEB family members that sell clothing or items like that you're really not solving a problem, right? So, one of the BEB family members has an athletic clothing line. It's really not solving a problem. It's got nice slogans. Everything looks good. But the question is, why is somebody going to buy this brand that isn't well known versus buying another more well-known brand? And so you have to go and look at status. And so when you talk about status, people buy things and do things because of status. People buy, red bottoms because of status. People buy high-end pocketbooks and purses because of status. People buy expensive cars and jewelry because of status. It's not solving a problem, right? You can buy, $1,000 pair of red bottoms versus another pair of shoes that costs $100. That's probably the same quality, right? I can buy a watch. It doesn't have to be a Rolex. Might not be the same quality, but I can buy a $500 watch versus buying a $20,000 watch. And it all is based on what you think. But status. And it's unfortunate in our community, sometimes status outweighs common sense, right? You over there buying all of this designer stuff and you having problems paying your bills. It don't work like that. You need to be able to pay your bills first and then get the status. But the status makes you feel good. It actually is moving you toward pleasure. You think it is, but it's probably hurting your pocket. Trying to live a life that you're not ready to live yet because you don't have the access or the money to do so. But these are the three things that motivate people. Moving away from pain, that's usually number one. Moving towards pleasure. And then there's also status. So if you're selling a product or a service or whatever that's based on status, then you got to be able to build up that status, and that status has to be aligned with that perceived value. So if I got the J. Jones athletic wear, with a picture of my logo on it versus somebody trying to buy a Gucci sweatsuit, what are they going to buy? They're going to buy the Gucci because J. Jones has no status. So if you're selling products like that, you need to create that status. And the way you do that, you have to support that by maybe having high-end or influencers wearing your products or services. Look at some of the dumbest stuff out there that people are spending money on. Like, y'all ever seen these crazy big-ass red boots? They look like clown shoes, and they come up to under the knee. And it really looks like a comic character. People are paying $350, $450 for a pair of big-ass styrofoam red boots, looking like clowns. But somebody, I don't know how they did it, they're geniuses, somebody made that quote-unquote a status symbol. So people are buying a product that literally costs about $5 to make, if that, because all it is styrofoam. So the three motivating factors are moving away from pain, which is normally number one. Number two, moving towards pleasure. And number three, status. People will buy things for the quote unquote status. And that's usually the third thing. All right. So before we get to the last quarter of the show, I'm going to do this real quick, guys. Let me just share all my social media contact information and my resource links. I'm going to keep it super simple. everything I talked about at the beginning of the show and I'm about to talk about, go to the website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. It's been revised, and we have all types of resources on the site. So I mentioned at the top of the show, my new book is out, Unlocking the Power of ChatGPT. Go to unlockingchatgpt.com. Also, I mentioned bebacademy.com. Go to the website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. On the front page, you'll see information about BEB Academy, Pinpoint and Monetize Your Genius, which is pound for pound one of my best online programs, and also Brand Builder Academy Elite. If you want to build a physical products brand or a digital products brand, an e-commerce business, this is what you want to go and check out. Now, in terms of connecting with me, anything long, family, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, JAYJONES@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, just type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter, jjones001, JAYJONES001. Instagram, I got 2 IG accounts. The first one is jjones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. LinkedIn, don't forget to connect with me there. Go to LinkedIn, type in J Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. You'll find me there. And YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, family. We have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. Yes, the show does come out on YouTube and all your major podcast platforms every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. So make sure you check that out. All my contact information is also on the website. Go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Hit the About button under my bio. There are all the links there. Make sure you guys utilize the website because we have all types of resources to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. And we want blackentrepreneurblueprint.com to be the website for Black entrepreneurs. All right, let's get back to the last quarter of the show. And we were talking about today the simple formula to raise your prices and make more money without getting your customers upset. And so the whole philosophy is this, guys. Now, when you raise your prices, as long as everything is aligned, like we talked about, you're going to be okay. You may actually lose the number of customers or the number of sales that you make, but there's a high probability that you're going to make more money with less customers. So what you're doing is you're creating higher value customers. Okay. So would you rather sell 100 units of whatever you're selling at $100, or would you rather sell 300 units at $30? There's a difference in the type of customer. Okay. So a lot of times businesses want to get their highest value customer and they don't mind giving up the number of sales or units that they sell versus the profitability that it brings. Okay. And so that's what you have to decide. And when you increase prices, it's easy to increase prices very little. So if you do a 5%, 7% increase in pricing, that's not going to make a difference. Right. But if you have a big jump in your pricing, then people are going to be like, yo, what's going on? And one of the things that when I do my speaking engagements, based on the type of entity, if it's a nonprofit or something like that, my pricing is a little bit different. But my mentor, and I mentioned this on a previous show, he was like, man, your pricing is too low. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to, help and elevate as many people as I can. He was like, yeah, but for real, in real talk, you're actually hurting your customers. He said, because, and I did a show on this, people that don't spend money, if they don't pay attention, right? So if I have an online course and it's $97 versus an online program with a couple more bells and whistles and it's for $970, people will finish the $970 program more so than they finished the $97 program because they invested that much money. Now, am I going to get as many people to sign up for a $970 program versus a $97 program? No. But what are the results? So now if you have more committed people that get better results, now you can support the price by using them as testimonials. And so I can see all of my online courses. I can see how far people have gone in the course. And I've done this myself. I've literally bought programs and never even looked at them. Okay. But I know if I bought a $1,000 program, you damn right, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go through the material. So my mentor, well, one of my mentors was saying, you're actually doing your customers a disservice. Now, here's a real life example when it comes to my speaking fees. So I have, I believe, 4 engagements for June. Now, the fees are going to vary based on what type of organization. Nonprofits, smaller organizations, they get obviously a different price. But when I go to major corporations or major entities, I up my speaking fee to $10,000, right? And it was a jump from $5,000 to $10,000. And I've actually got more speaking engagements. And here's the whole key. Somebody that's in that industry that actually books speakers, they help you book, and obviously they get a commission. They're saying that, you know what, if you only charge $5,000 and I'm getting a 20% commission, that's really not a lot of money for me to book you. But if you charge $10,000 and I get 20%, they get $2,000 every time they book me to speak. And so now, because I'm using that leverage, I'm actually getting more speaking engagements and making more money. So you just have to be strategic about it, in terms of your product and or services. And once again, it has to be aligned. Are you a high-end product or service, mid-level or low-level? And everything about your product, your pricing, and your positioning has to be aligned in order for you to make money. So what I would implore you to do, guys, is look at your current pricing. Look at it and see if you're able to increase your pricing. I'm not talking about 3% or 5%, significantly, and if it's going to make a difference for you. Okay. But once again, everything has to be aligned, right? Remember, the formula is this: higher pricing plus aligned perceived value equals more money and more profit. Higher pricing plus aligned perceived value equals more money and more profit. Okay. So price versus perceived value. If your price exceeds your perceived value, then you're not going to make sales. If your perceived value exceeds your pricing, you will make sales. And that's pretty much the bottom line with anything. So make sure everything is aligned: your product, your pricing, and your positioning. I say this each and every week, guys, because it's true, but we get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, the ecosystem with all the books, online courses, and resources to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.